All right, everybody, welcome to the Combatcast. It's the man they call Dave and Sheva Rooney. Before we get started, check out this video. Are you a fan of pro wrestling, comedy, and combat sports? Then we have the podcast for you because we cover that and much, much more.
Do you like to debate with your friends? Do we have the perfect segment for you? It's the 531, where we take any given subject, break it down to a top 5. From there, we debate it down to 3, and then into that number 1 spot.
If you want to get a hold of us, find us on our social medias. Search Working Fans Podcast on any major social media platform. And if you want to find the podcast, search for us on any major podcast platform, as well as YouTube.
Working Fans Podcast. We put in the work so you don't have to.
Everybody, it's the Combatcast. We're back. We're going to have some stuff to talk about today. Sorry if the setting looks like I'm kind of like a little hunchback here. We're working on some new stuff over here. But anyway, Chevy, why don't we just tell them what they got coming up?
All right, August 20th. We're looking forward to UFC 278. That's Usman versus Edwards 2. And then September 3rd, we're going to have a Paris fight night. That'll be Gane versus Tuivasa, 3 p.m. fight card.
Yes.
And then September 10th, another pay-per-view, UFC 279, Chimaev versus Diaz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chimaev? Or I always thought it was Chimaev. I know.
Chimaev.
Yeah, I went to
Asma. I've heard 1,000 different pronunciations for all of his names, so.
Interesting. All right, man. Let's get into last week's fight card first. Every single fight was a finish.
Mm-hmm.
Before we talk about this main card a little bit, you could talk about everything. Was there any fights you want to talk about on the undercard? I'll say one. Brian Battle.
Yeah, Brian Battle. That KO was brutal. He looked great. Poor Sato. He got kicked in the face.
Yeah, and then he called out Ian Gary and who else did he want? Brian Barberino too.
Yeah, because he said he spells his name wrong.
Yeah,
but they spell their name the same though.
I always thought that was so ridiculous. Yeah. But I mean, you know what? Good on him. He gets a finish. He makes the most of the mic. He calls out 2 gettable opponents, that have buzz around them, but that's in his wheelhouse. He could get those fights. Smart. That was real smart.
Yeah, it was one of the best call outs like I've heard in a while. I feel like people have been they either call out somebody completely unattainable, they're calling out Ngannou or Floyd Mayweather or Conor or some shit, or I'll fight whoever the UFC puts in front of me. So good on Brian Battle.
Absolutely. Should we get in this main card?
Yeah.
All right. Terrence McKinley, submission, rear naked choke, round 1. What you think?
Terrence is a problem for sure. In his last fight, he gassed out, but it was an amazing first round against Drew Dober. But with all the work that both guys are putting in, I'm not surprised he gassed out. But eventually, he's going to have to make it past the first round, and that might be difficult for him. But he looked great. Gets the finish. Good finish for him. I'm excited every time he fights.
And I like his call out of Patty, too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Actually, he's the kind of guy you could put Patty with in there. They both haven't really – Patty's gone past the first round in the UFC, but it's been a finish every time, first, second round. And now you got Terrence, who doesn't like to go past round 1. I think it'll be fireworks. I think Terrence, I don't know. Could you make that fight? Or do you UFC, is Terrence too much of a potential trouble, to keep Patty away from him?
I think the UFC doesn't want to make that fight. They want to build Patty. That's too dangerous of a fight with someone who doesn't have quite the name yet. Even though he does have, like all first round finishes, he hasn't beat the best of the best, and I don't think they want to risk Paddy losing to him. So I don't think we'll see that fight, but it is a good call out because if he does get the fight, that's a huge fight for his career.
Absolutely. Sergey Spivak, TKO round 2 over Augusto Sakai. What about this guy?
Excuse me. Spivak is just levels above Augusto, especially on the ground. It's been a tough run for Sakai. I think he might get cut after this. I think that's like 4 in a row or something. So Spivak's a real problem in the division for sure. So people better keep an eye on him.
I'd like to see him maybe fight Alexander Volkov. Just looking at the rankings, they're near each other. They haven't fought. And I don't think, obviously Tuivasa and Gane are booked. And like we talked about before another episode, I don't think Curtis Blades is fighting anybody except one of the top guys right now. And obviously Aspinall's hurt. So I think Alexander Volkov makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a great matchup.
Then I believe, looking at that, Juliana Miller. She won TKO round 3. And this was the women's flyweight Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, Miller was just way stronger in the clinch than Brogan and much better on the ground too. She had top position almost the entire fight. So I thought she was a shitty competitor. I know they had a little bit of heat, but she, gave her the DX suck it sign after she TKO'd her and then pushed her while she was on the ground. If you do that, you're a piece of shit in my book. So I hope she gets fucked up in her next fight.
So I actually wanted to see her get booked maybe against Molly McCann, and that's not going to happen. We found there's a fight today. But my reasoning was she won the Ultimate Fighter. Molly's only ranked 15, so she's actually right there. And Molly always has buzz going around her because of these England shows and her connection to Paddy. So I thought, hey, this is not a bad fight to make. If she loses, whatever, but you'd have the Ultimate Fighter buzz versus somebody who's been doing that. But
yeah, I think they should match her up against Valentina right now.
You want to see her get ass kicked. Learn some humility.
Yeah.
I can't say I blame you there. I understand. Now, Muhammad Usman, the brother of Kamaru Usman, maybe the most dangerous brother combination of all time. We'll see. KO round 2. He looks dangerous, but I mean he's very new in his career. Obviously, you can tell me about this fight. For potential fights, I just had to take it slow with this guy because obviously he's new, and with heavyweight, it's hard almost not to rush at heavyweight anyway. Right. So let's just try to get these guys some good fights.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was losing that fight up until he landed that, check hook or whatever.
Yeah.
He is a super powerful man for sure. But technically, like his fundamentals are just awful. I say that with as much respect as possible because at heavyweight you can get away with that when you're just super powerful. But Zach's, I still don't remember how to pronounce his last name, but his fundamentals, his athleticism on the feet, he was looking great until he just got clipped. And he was out for a long time. And it wasn't, it was just a short check hook, and it put him out for a long time. So Usman's power is super scary. So, he's going to be a problem for a lot of guys in the division. Now, I think you're right. They should bring him along, fairly slowly because he's definitely green. He has a lot to work on. But when your brother is the pound for pound number 1, you're probably, going to have the best training partner that you can find. So.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully he makes up some ground here. Jeff Neal, we called this one. KO over Vicente Luque round 3. What do you think of this fight?
Well, I thought Luque was going to win, but
you did. Oh, I thought you disagreed with me on this one. Okay.
Yeah. I thought that Luque looked a shell of himself, really, and I leave that. I credit that to Jeff Neal. I mean, Jeff Neal has never looked as great as he did, especially in that first round. I mean, every shot was just landing on Luque and hard, and so Luque couldn't get any offense going. And Saif Saud is Jeff Neal's coach, and he was just feeding him the lines from the octagon side the whole fight, telling him exactly what he needed to be doing, encouraging him, pushing him on. And when fights are in the apex, that's the kind of stuff I want to hear. If you can't hear the crowd, I want to hear the coaching. So it was nice to hear that. That's the first time Luque's been finished, I believe. That's definitely the first time he's been knocked out. So that's a big feather in Jeff Neal's cap, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. He's going to have some big fights coming up after that.
I got one for this one too. Jeff Neal, number 8 versus number 5, Bahil Muhammad.
Yeah, that's I think maybe they have fought before. I think that Neal has a win over Bilal a few years ago, so that would be a good rematch, I think.
Yeah, but Muhammad's outranking him right now.
Yeah,
I'm curious. Yeah, you are correct. He has a decision victory in 2019.
Right, a decision victory too. That's super impressive with Muhammad's wrestling. So yeah, I bet Muhammad would like to get that one back. So yeah, it's a good matchup.
Jamal Hill, main event, Thiago Santos, TKO, round 4. I didn't get to watch this one. I heard it was back and forth and a crazy fight. What did you see?
It was the most damage on Hill's face that I've seen for sure. But I thought, he did take some shots, some heavy shots. So I was impressed with his toughness, but he just kept coming forward through everything. Thiago just got worn out, which he's been known to do. He gasses out because he's so muscly. But I was impressed with. I think he knew that his job is, possibly on the line if he had a bad performance.
Right.
So while he did lose, I thought that he showed he still belongs with those top guys. Because even though he fatigued, he stayed in there as long as he could. He was tough. He was still swinging back. The finishing sequence, he just got so tired that he turned his back and started to run away. And you can't do that against somebody with a killer instinct like Jamal Hill. So he jumped on him and finished him. So good on Hill. Hill's super dangerous. I believe his only loss was that, lost to Paul Craig where he got his arm broken. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, he has the right mentality. His aggressiveness in and out of the octagon, his confidence. He's a scary dude.
Yeah, he learned from that Paul Craig fight, too. He admitted
absolutely
he was overconfident. I think the next fight for him, it might be fun. He's number 6, number 4, Alexander Rakic, one of your guys there.
Right, Rakic, he had that knee injury, so I'm not sure how long he'll be out for, but stylistically, that matchup is fantastic.
We will see if the fight gets made. All right. Vera versus Cruz this weekend. Before we get to the main card, and I got a feeling there might be a prelim fight or two you're looking at here because I see a couple.
Yeah. So Angela Hill's fighting somebody I didn't know, but I do always like to watch Angela Hill fight. So keep an eye out for that one. I think she's the main event of the prelims. And then Cynthia Calvillo versus Nina Nunes. That's a fight that got postponed until this card. So I'm excited for that one. And then Ode Osborne versus Tyson Nam. So Ode Osborne is someone that everyone should be keeping an eye on. He is super dangerous. I think, this early on, but I think he has all of the skills to become champ at some point. So definitely keep an eye out for Ode Osborne.
Absolutely. That was what I was thinking of too. He got a performance of the night in his last fight, and he's definitely somebody to look out for.
Yeah, very exciting, well-rounded fighter.
All right. We got producer Joe in the comments. What's up, guys? How you doing, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
I think he likes the new setup. I think that's what he's told me. He said something about we have to talk about it off air, so I'm sure that's good. Oh, man. First fight on this main card, Gerald Meerschaert He's 34-15, 6 KOs, 26 subs, 2 decisions. And then we got him fighting Bruno Silva, who's 22-7, 19 KOs, 3 decisions. This feels like striker versus grappler here. Like Merchart's a submission guy, 26 subs.
Yeah, so Bruno Silva is the opponent that Alex Pereira fought. So, excuse me. So he lost a decision to Alex Pereira. That's impressive at that point. 2 KO guys, he survived all that damage. He's Brazilian, so I assume he has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he's going to be able to handle himself on the ground. If he can keep it standing, he'll KO Mearshart in the first round. I like Gerald Mearshart, so I mean the guy's a finisher for sure. If he gets it down, he has the skills to get any number of chokes. But I think in this one, the UFC is kind of feeding him to Bruno. So I'm going to go with Bruno by first round KO.
I agree. Ariane Lipski, she's 14-7, 6 KOs, 3 subs, 5 decision, taking on Priscilla Cachoeira. 11-4, 6 KOs, 5 decisions. I like Cachoeira here, actually, I think.
Right. This was a fight that got canceled like the day of the fight last week. So we talked a little bit about this one. I'm going to go with Lipski by decision. I think both girls are very tough, and Lipski needs to mind her P's and Q's to avoid getting knocked out, but I think she's going to get a decision.
Sounds good. All right. I'll get Priscilla by decision. Devin Clark, 13-6, 4 KOs, 1 subs, 8 decisions, taking on Azmat Murzakanov.
That's better than I would have done, yeah.
Nice. 11-0, 8 KOs, 1 sub, 2 decisions. Azmat undefeated here. I like an undefeated prospect, so I don't know much about him, but I'll take him. Let's say, let's look at that record here again. 4 KOs, 1 subs, or 8 KOs. I'm sorry, looking at the wrong record here. Yeah, so yeah, I'll go KO round 2.
Yeah, Clark is super tough, and he's durable, but I think the UFC is setting him up to lose on this one. It's a showcase fight for Azmat. And I think Azmat, again, I think it's going to be a first round KO. I think they're just going to, the bell rings, they're both going to go to the center and brawl.
Now, here's 2 names I'm going to definitely struggle with today. Women's strawweight, Lasmin Jaguri, 8-0, 6 KOs, 2 decisions. Iceman Luknin, 13-4, 8 KOs.
I think it is Lucindo, her last name.
Oh,
I think it's Yasmin.
I wrote down. Yep, I forgot to put. Yep, that's fine. That would have been easier. Lucindo, 13-4, 8 KOs, 2 subs, 3 decisions. Again, I'll take the undefeated here, Lasmin, but I'm gonna go with decision.
Yeah, I don't know very much about either one of these fighters, but I was looking through all their records and who they fought. I think this could be a war, but I'm going to go with Yasmin by KO. I'm going to say third round. I'm going to say that Lucindo survives to the third. When she gets tired, she gets KO'd.
Then we got David Onama, 10-1, 6 KOs, 4 subs against Nate Landwehr.
Yeah.
Landwehr, yeah, 15-4, 8 KOs, 1 sub, 6 decisions. I remember seeing Nate fight before. I remember some fireworks, if I remember correctly, too. There's a lot of names we don't know on this card that I feel like the UFC is potentially trying to spotlight. I feel like this might be another one of those here with this 10-1 record, 6 KOs, 4 subs. This guy's only had finishes in his career. And yeah, I don't know. Something in my bones again. I'm going with David Onama here. I'm going to say he gets the finish. I'll go round 2 TKO.
Yeah, I think this is similar to that Devin Clark fight where Nate is super tough, but Onama is a very scary fighter. He's super athletic, very powerful. James Krause, he fights out of Glory MMA with James Krause, so Krause will have him ready to go. I think that Nate's tough, so he'll survive to round 2 before Onama KOs him.
All right, we'll still see. And then main event time. All right, this one I'm excited about. Marlon Cheetah Vera, 19-7-1. He's better than that record is too, by the way. He's fought some of the best in the world, and he's constantly improving. 7-0, 8 subs, 4 decisions, performance of the night 4 times, most stoppage wins in UFC bantamweight division history. Dominic Cruz, guy's a legend. 24-3, 7 KOs, 1 sub, 16 decisions. He's been the bantamweight championship twice, 3 successful title events, fight of the night 4 times, performance of the night once, former WEC bantamweight champion as well. Guy's been around the block. He's, again, only 3 losses. Faber.
Only to champions. He's only ever lost to the champion.
Yeah. Faber, Cody, and whatever his last one was to Henry Cejudo.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So he's just about as good as it gets. I just feel like he's getting a little older. He's more than capable of showing me up and making us all wrong here. There was a thing years ago. I remember when UFC really started, when they first got on Fox, and Dominic Cruz was becoming like one of the analysts. And you could see some of the guys who became analysts were becoming better fighters. And Cruz was one of like those guys for sure. Like all his time away, he just takes time out to get better and better. But guys always had problems with injuries. His body gets hurt. And I feel like Marlon Vera is just on top of his game right now. He's looking like a better fighter all the time. Jason Perillo has him just cooking. I like the chemistry between them. I think, and Vera's the kind of guy too, when he fights, he's not a point fighter. And, but I don't mean that he's like, he fights recklessly to knock you out, but he has like a game plan. They're working on their game plan to execute, whether it's attack your legs, whether it's just to outstrike you, whatever that is, in the clinch, he's getting good all over. He's the younger fighter. He's on the come up here. I like Vera. I like him to finish Cruz. Cruz is tough. Cruz is technical. I don't think Vera will rush this, but I say round 3 or 4. I'm going to go round 3. TKO. I think Vera's going to tear up those legs, and he's going to put the work on him. TKO round 3.
I agree with everything you said about Marlon Vera. His work rate, his cardio, he runs like 10 miles a day. The fact that he is an intelligent fighter, but goes for damage. He's not a point fighter. But I just think Cruz is so cerebral. He's so smart. His footwork is so good. I'm hoping that he can avoid those leg kicks with that footwork. Now, I don't think he's going to hurt Marlon, but I think he is going to mix the wrestling up with the striking, and he's going to land on him, and he's going to outlast him. And I just can't go against Cruz. He's only ever lost to champions, and I know he's getting older, and he has a lot of fights, but he gets a lot of time off in between fights too. So I think he's fresh. He's ready to go. Make this last run probably at a title. And I think, the winner of this is 1 fight away from a title shot, I think. So for both guys, I think this is a big fight. But I'm going to go with Cruz by decision. I would not be surprised in any outcome of this fight. And both guys are spectacular. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. You got me thinking here a little bit. Just take a look at some of these bantamweight rankings before we get out of here, just because it is one of the most fun divisions, really. So TJ Dillashaw is fighting next for the title. Then we got Peter Yan versus Sean O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Yan, they're not probably trying to rush him and Sterling. So, but I could see that fight happening again if he wins. If O'Malley wins for some reason, which I can't see O'Malley beating Yan, but let's say he beats Yan, he's getting fast tracked for sure. You think?
I think maybe the winner of this fights the winner of that. It depends on the outcome. If O'Malley has some spectacular knockout of Jan, yeah, he gets a title shot right away.
Can he beat Jan any other way?
No. I mean, I'm talking like some one punch KO stuff,
right?
But without taking any damage, he just dominates. I don't see that happening. And then it also depends on the finish of Marlon and Cruz. If Marlon has some spectacular finish, does he have enough clout to push through? Skip over Jan if Jan wins? Maybe. Skip over O'Malley? Probably not. So there's some variables.
There's one other fight too coming up too. Merab versus Jose Aldo.
Well, yeah. So I wonder how that plays out, because I know that Aljo and Merab are close teammates. So I don't know if they want to fight. I know that, I think Aljo's talked about moving up when it's Merab's, time to be champion or whatever.
He wants to go up to featherweight. Merab's talked about even going down to flyweight.
I don't think he can do that.
And actually, his coach Ray Longo said, "Yeah, we're not going to do that." He said, "If Aljo's wanting to go up to featherweight, he's like, I'm happy to see these two guys are such great teammates. They don't want to fight." He said, "I think it's great." And that's the thing about Ray Longo too. If you ever listen to him, like he's like, if this guys want to fight, they'll do it. They'll figure it out and they'll work it out. But he's more than happy. Like he loves the teamwork and camaraderie. So I think that's great. And but yeah, we don't need to see Merab at flyweight.
I think if Aldo wins, he has such a name value. He's a legend. He's later on in his career. It's possible he skips the line too. So
yeah.
And I would love to see him fight literally anyone that we've talked about. So bantamweight division is just fantastic, especially at the top.
I mean, I'm looking at Corey Sandhagen.
Right, we can't forget about him either.
Number 4, and I don't know. I mean, obviously he's coming off loss, so he probably won't be in that mix right now. But and then you got Rob Font right there at 7, and like Pedro Munoz is like number 9, Song Yadong 10. Like this is
Song Yadong is, he's been looking tremendous his last few fights too. So guys should keep an eye on him too.
Yeah,
he's a tough matchup for some guys.
Is an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, fantastic division.
It really is. Even Ricky Simon at number 11. Ricky Simone at number 11. Frankie Edgar at 12. Sean O'Malley is actually number 13, who's getting that crazy fight with Jan. Umar Nurmagomedov, I think. I'm trying to. Jack Shore, I think we just recently saw a fight too. Like this is all top guys. It'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out. But those will be fights we could talk about in the future. So why don't we tell people we got coming up one more time?
So before we do that, I just want to talk a little bit. We didn't talk about the PFL card before, but Anthony Pettis lost to Stevie Ray. I think that's like 3 losses in a row for Pettis or something in PFL. So not good for him. I don't know if they sign him back. I don't know how much money he's making when he's not winning the $1 million. So I think he has his own promotion. Maybe he needs to fight in his own promotion.
Book himself some fights.
Yeah.
2 losses in a row.
2 losses. Okay.
Yeah. Both to Stevie Ray.
Stevie Ray, yeah. Okay.
So maybe stop fighting Stevie Ray.
Yeah, maybe it's just a bad matchup for him, I guess. So.
Yeah, one was the submission twister. That was 2 fights ago. And then the last one was just the decision. So, maybe that's it. I say he's going to come back then. Being that he's had 2 losses to the same person, you try to adapt, and then we'll see how he does next year. Now,
don't fight a grappler this time.
Yeah, let's see what we can set him up with.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there was some other. One more thing too. Kayla Harrison. There's been talks about trying to book her with Cyborg now too, and the founder of the PFL has actually gone out and really wants to make this fight. And he's talking about $1 million each, and the winner gets $2 million. And he said this is the fight to make. I hope they get it done. I think Scott Coker would probably be more than willing to work with them. And that's probably the biggest women's featherweight fight you can really make without having Amanda Nunes in there. And I don't see the UFC really messing around with that right now.
Right. And so Cyborg fights at featherweight, right? But
Yes.
does Kayla Harris, she fights at lightweight, right? Or is it featherweight? So
Yeah,
this would be the first time we'd see her at featherweight too. So that'd be a good showcase for a fight against Amanda in the future, possibly.
It would be. Now, here's the thing too. Like Cyborg, because Harrison is fighting at lightweight and there's just not a lot of, top elite lightweight female competitors. It's just
none. There's none.
Yeah, there's none. So we don't know what she's going to do with a person like Cyborg, who has fought nothing but the elite and is probably more comfortable at that weight class than Kayla Harrison would be. So, and probably has more tools in a mixed martial arts fight than Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, definitely better on the feet for sure.
Yeah,
it's a great matchup. I would definitely love to see that fight.
Man, I hope. When they did that and they co-promoted it and they had that Mohegan Sun.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to figure that one out for sure. Yeah, so
sure.
Hopefully that happens and it happens soon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, set them up.
All right, August 20th, we're gonna be previewing UFC 278, Usman versus Edwards 2. And September 3rd, UFC Fight Night Gane versus Tuivasa. That'll be a 3 p.m. Eastern card. And then September 10th, we're going to be previewing UFC 279, Hazmat versus Nate Diaz.
Which is very interesting, too. We're going to have a couple pay-per-views close together here, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, very interesting. And then I think the one after that is Abu Dhabi, where we'll have a nice, very early start time for a change, too.
Yeah, it'd be a wicked early fight.
Yeah. That's a stacked card, too. That's versus Charles Vera, O'Malley-On, and Sterling Dillashaw.
Yeah, the UFC's been spoiling us a bit lately. I mean, that last card was sort of a dud, but look at it. It was all finishes, literally all finishes. So you really can't miss any of these cards.
No. We'll have to start trying to catch the Contender Series a little more, too. A lot of stuff going on, too.
Yeah, I think there's 8 weeks in this season, so I think they just did 2 or 3. So Tuesday nights at like 8:00, I believe. So we'll have to try to catch those.
ESPN Plus. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into the Combatcast. We'll